Let's take a breath together. So our talk title this morning is Pause for the Cause, to identify the cause. It's probably the simplest talk I will ever give and the most difficult one to hear. Because cause and effect is really very simple. There is one cause, and we can call it a lot of things. We can call it infinite. We can call it God. We can call it spirit. We can call it consciousness. We can call it the quantum field. We can call it energy. Bottom line is there's one cause back of everything. And that simply means one something that everything is created out of. One substance that everything is created out of. Effect, equally simple. Everything we perceive, everything we have ever perceived in this human realm is effect. Everything. Right? The wind on your face, the sun, the warmth of the sun, snowflakes, each other, the chair you're sitting in, all effect. The challenge is the journey from cause to effect, because we are the ones using cause. We are the ones moving energy into form. And sometimes we are conscious about what we're doing, but mostly not so much. Mostly what we're creating, or co-creating, if you will, is repetitive, unexamined, generational beliefs that we don't even know we're holding. We don't even know it. Because they've just been handed down from generation to generation. We get here as a blank slate. Right? Now, we get here with consciousness because we're born out of consciousness. So we are consciousness in form. So all the consciousness that has ever been available is available in us even before conception. Now wrap your head around that. Everything that has ever been known, everything that can ever be known, we each have 100% access to. Always have had. The challenge is nobody tells us that. Right? Nobody tells you when you get here, hey, no matter what we tell you as you grow up, you already know everything. Not everything you need to know, but everything. Everything that has ever been known, you already know. Because you are it in form. How would our lives be different if somebody told us that every day while we were growing up? But they don't. What we do tell one another is how limited we are. We tell one another how much we don't know. We tell each other how wrong we are and what we need to do to measure up to be right. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm the only one that had that upbringing. I don't think so. Okay. Because what's happening is we're being socialized by generational conditioning. We're being socialized by generational effect, if you will. And most of us have no idea. So what I want you to go away with today is to know how. To know how to know what's operating in your consciousness. Okay? Because many of us are frustrated, right? I keep doing my treatment, I keep doing my prayer work, I keep doing my meditation, and what I want is not happening. Anybody else have that? Anybody else have moments of disappointment where you were sure something was going to happen and it didn't? Here's how you know what was really operating in your consciousness. Pay attention to the first thought you have in disappointment. Pay attention. Because if the first thought you have when something doesn't show up the way you think it should or in the timing you think it should, and the first thing that comes into your head was figures. You didn't believe it in the first place. And so what you got was exactly what you believed, that it wouldn't happen. If your first thought was, well, of course, my life doesn't work anyway. That's what you're going to get, is more of your life not working anyway. Because what consciousness, what law, the activity of consciousness that we call law, the soul of the one, the activity, right, is responding to is not the words that come out of your mouth. It's responding to the belief back of those words. It's responding to your faith, the unquestioned position that you hold so precious, so certain that you don't even question it. And so if you hold with absolute certainty that your life is going to be mediocre because, well, that's just what you were born into, stop being surprised when you have a mediocre life. Because that's what you're agreeing to. That's what you have decided. Law can't supersede your belief system. It cannot co-create with you something you don't believe. That's why when folks are trying to manifest money, we don't jump from $30,000 a year to $3 million a year. Because you don't believe it anyway. Right? Let's move the belief system incrementally. Let's hold in consciousness something that you actually believe is possible. Because if you believe it's impossible, what law is going to respond to is the impossibility in your thinking. And it will go, okay, don't do that over here because it's impossible over here. But over here is believing that it's 100% possible, so here you go. It's really that simple. But it's not easy to hear. It's not easy to hear that my experience is 100% my responsibility. That does not mean that people on planet Earth do not do stupid things that impact one another. Let's be clear. That is not what that means. I don't create anybody else's behavior. I create my behavior. I don't create your behavior. And sometimes your behavior collides with my behavior. I am 100% responsible for how I experience that, for what I tell myself about that, for what I tell myself about you. Right? I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and what they said was, well, as much as I want to believe that people are good, they're not. Okay? So what do you think they're experiencing? They're experiencing a lot of jackasses. Because what they believe is that the human race is full of jackasses. And so consciousness says, here you go. Here's all the jackasses. Because it's going to validate what we believe. It's going to. It always says yes to itself. Right? Another belief that came up in a conversation. I'm really struggling financially. Well, tell me what you think about wealthy people. Oh, they're all jerks. Are you a jerk? No. Well, there you go. So what is the law responding to? Wealthy people are jerks. I'm not a jerk, so I don't get to be wealthy. It's very subtle stuff, folks. But if you're holding in consciousness that all wealthy people are jerks, and you are 100% equally certain that you are not a jerk, you just made it really clear in consciousness that you do not want to be wealthy, because that would make you a jerk. It's very subtle. And so we get to pause, and we get to take ownership of the funnel, if you will. Because consciousness is absolute. It's everywhere. It is our beliefs, our thoughts that create the funnel for where it goes and how we use it. I like the analogy of the injection mold. Right? We hold in our imagination what we want. And that funnel, our belief systems, funnels energy, funnels substance into that mental mold, and voila. But when the mental mold and the funnel aren't in the same room, it doesn't happen so well. Right? It doesn't happen so well. If you think your mold is one thing and it's really something else, it becomes pretty clear what's actually happening. Right? So step one, get rid of the guilt, shame, and blame, because you are not responsible for what you were taught generationally. It is not your fault that you have belief systems that are untrue. Right? And it serves no purpose to blame. It serves no purpose to spin your wheels and try to figure out which generation started this. Which one? Because what are you going to do when you have the answer? Put it in a box? Okay, that was in the 1400s. It changes nothing, right? Identify, this is what I'm actually believing. And then go to work on that. Is there a grain of truth in it? Even a grain. And if not, what is true? Okay. All wealthy people are bad. Is there a grain of truth in that? No. Do some wealthy people behave badly? Sure. But that's not all wealthy people. See, if it starts with all, never, those kinds of words, it's probably not going to be true. Because there's always going to be an exception. Right? So take yourself to task. Is that true? Well, no, it's not true. What is true? Well, what is true is that people behave badly, self-included. I'm not my behavior. I'm so much more than that. Well, what am I? I am an intentional, on purpose, one-of-a-kind, divine idea in the mind of creation to know itself, to expand its experience of itself as my life. That's who I am. Holy moly. Now, if you can't get excited about that, I don't know if I can help you. That's pretty amazing. What am I made of? I'm made out of whatever made the whole universe. That is the substance that I'm made out of. So infinite love, infinite intelligence, infinite abundance, love, peace, power, presence. That's what I'm made of. All of that is available. And you start telling yourself that. And I guarantee you, if you tell yourself that a couple of times a day, what you think will change. What you think will change. And it will go from looking to other people to fix you, you will understand you have never been broken. You can't be broken. You're unbreakable. You're unbreakable. You're that amazing. And you will begin to understand that everything you think you need, you already are. Notice, I didn't say you already have. You already are everything you think you need. And so you just have to believe it into being. I think Ernest Holmes, I have conversations with him sometimes that I wish he had used belief instead of thought when he talked about this stuff. Because most of our thinking is just static about thoughts. Most of us wouldn't recognize a thought if we fell over it because we're too busy thinking about stuff to even identify the thoughts. Right? Most of us are just in static land. We got to learn how to turn the radio dial to actual thoughts, to tune in to what we are actually believing. Because those are the thoughts Ernest Holmes was talking about. Those are the ones. Faith is the substance. The substance, catch this, the substance of things not seen, but hoped for. Right? Substance is consciousness. What was it that Deborah read? Yep, she took it. No, she didn't. When you believe more in what you don't see, the substance, the faith, when you have more faith in what is wanting to manifest in, through, and as you, when you believe more in that than what you see, right, than what's currently here, then what's currently here will stop distracting you. It'll stop being the thing that gets all of your attention. And you will begin to manifest what you didn't see. Because you believe in it so completely, so unshakably, that it becomes manifest as your life. We have to stop. Your good is not in a holding tank somewhere waiting to be delivered. Stop it. It's here right now. There is no other place. See, that's the thing, we fool ourselves. It's those subtle little beliefs that put our good outside of us. As if we have to, okay, I'm waiting on a delivery of good. I really thought it was going to be here at 9:56, but geez, now it's not here. Where is it? When you know, when you go from knowing about to knowing, in that place where you no longer question that your good is right here, right now, always has been, you shift from my good is coming to me to it is here, show me where it is now. Show me where it is now. Let's take this into prayer. How good it is to remember that there is one substance, one something indefinable, everywhere present, one allness, one wholeness, one completeness, everything made out of it, fully containing it, fully being it, in the multiplicity of form, in the multiplicity of experience, yet never separate from itself. This is my life. This is the life of every life. One individualizing itself exquisitely to expand its experience of itself. Each divine idea in the mind of itself to know itself as its creation. And so this one life is the life of all creation. We are that sacred. We are that holy. We are that connected. And so I speak my word, knowing it is the word of that which created me speaking as me. Claiming and affirming that we are awakened, the collective we are awakening and are awakened to the truth of who we are, to what we are. And we, beyond any condition, thinking, lay claim to the power within us to create the heart's desire that begs for expression within us, that compels us to be, to be that divine light that we came here to be. Unapologetically, without restriction. So grateful. I feel the truth of the words spoken resonate in every fiber of my being. I feel that internal hallelujah, welcome home. And so I let go. I let it be. And I invite you to step fully, 100% into what is you as we stay together. And so it is.